What's up, everybody? Joe Rogan had Trump on his podcast last night. It was uploaded. Over 13 million views already just on YouTube alone in like 14 hours time. And, typical left-wing Twitter X is losing their mind, saying it was stupid, it was crazy, it was boring. It's not our fault you have TikTok brain rot and can only handle videos that are no more than a couple minutes long. But if you ever watched a Rogan episode on his podcast, that's how they all go. It's long form discussion and they're just talking. Now, Trump doesn't partake in smoking, drinking. Usually, if Rogan has guests on, they might smoke a cigar, drink some whiskey, da 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 da. But Trump's a sober guy. He doesn't do that type of stuff. So yeah, it was just a normal conversation. It was a good conversation. But I wanted to play a couple clips. The main one being, if I wasn't already voting for Trump, I would be after this, is Trump says he will release the JFK files. So I'm going to pull that up right now and we'll take a listen to that, because this was probably my favorite part of the episode.
Experience.
One of the things that I want to talk to you about is the JFK files. And one of the things that you said was that if they showed you what they showed me, this was your quote, you wouldn't want people to know it either.
So I opened them up partially. I was met with from good people. Good people. People that were well-meaning. Mike Pompeo was one of them. He's a good person. They called me. They said, "Sir, would rather have you not." After and I did open them, but I was asked by some people not to open them. There's a Martin Luther King file too, by the way, that they'd like to see. I don't know if you know, but there is that. But JFK in particular. So they called me. A lot of good people called me. People that that you would find reasonable people. And they asked me not to do it. So I said, well, we'll close it for another time. But if I win, I'm going to open them up. I'm just going to open them up.
Why didn't you open it up the first time?
Because a lot of
what
times
was the hesitation?
Addresses, people that are still living. There are people that are affected. And there could be some national security reason that I don't have to necessarily know about. But some very good, talented people asked me not to do it. I opened it up, and then they said, would it be possible for us to do that a different day?
How much of it did you read into?
I think it's going to be just fine to open it. Let me put it that way. I think it's fine. It's going to be time. It's a cleansing. It's really a cleansing. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it immediately, almost immediately upon entering office.
Well, the thing, when people look at it from the outside, and you sort of imagine what could be a reason why they would not release those files, it would be there's people that were implicated in the assassination.
Well, when they're living people, you generally tend not to want to do it. When people are still living.
Living people that formerly worked for the government.
For the government, and living people that were somehow involved in it, and you tend not to do that. But it's time to open them. I can't tell you whether or not they're going to find anything of interest. And I did partially open. I think I've opened 50%. But I was asked not to do it, and I thought that was a reasonable list. But now I'm going to do it very soon. There's a lot of interest in it.
One of the things
there's a lot of interest in the people coming from space.
Yes.
And I know you're interested.
Oh, very interested in that. How much did they tell you about that?
A lot.
Really?
Yeah.
What did they tell you? How much can you tell? How's that work? Like super top secret? Tell me.
Well, based on Hunter Biden, I can say whatever I want, right? But I interviewed a few people. It's never been my thing, I have to be honest. I have never been. I have people that Area 51 or whatever it is. I think it's the number one tourist attraction in the whole country or something. Area 51 in Las Vegas. Do you know that?
Sure. I know what it is.
So anyway, but it's a big tourist thing. So I interviewed jet pilots that say they saw something If you saw them, you'd love to have them.
I've had a couple in here. Commander David Fravor. I had him in who had that sighting in 2004. Very compelling visual video evidence, radar evidence.
I
Graves.
don't believe his name, but I interviewed jet pilots that were solid people. Perfect. I mean, great pilots, great everything. And they said we saw things, sir, that were very strange. Like a round ball, but it wasn't a comet or a meteor. It was something. And it was going 4 times faster than an F-22, which is a very fast plane, you know. And it was round, which is in theory a great shape.
So when you were talking to these people, was this something that you were compelled to have conversations about? Was this your personal interest?
A little bit. It's not a great interest for me, but it's a little interest. I get that question as much as almost any question. Do you think that we have aliens come, flying around or whatever?
What do you think?
There's no reason not to. There's no reason not to think that Mars and all these planets don't have life.
Because Mars, we've had probes there, rovers, and I don't think there's any life there.
Or maybe it's life that we don't know.
Well, maybe there was life there at one point in time. This is a speculation about Mars. That Mars had an atmosphere at one time, a long time ago, that could support life. It also had large bodies of water, but we've had no evidence of even bacterial life that exists on Mars. But the universe has been a big thing for me. I mean, when I looked at what China did to this, they would have never done it when they put the balloon up. And a lot of people thought, for a little while that was one of these things. So that's a lot of speculation too. That some of these drones that hover over battleships, these are Chinese drones, and that they're not UFOs.
They could be also.
There's some super.
But I did interview, let's say 3 or 4 guys that, and without tremendous interest, if you had them. As I said, you'd love to have them as your children. Solid, beautiful people. They say, sir, there's something. There's something there. Yeah, I've talked to quite a few of them. They're not conspiracy guys.
Well, I mean, just the Commander David Fravor thing in 2004 off the coast of San Diego. They clocked that thing from 50,000 feet above sea level to 50 in a second. They don't know what it is.
That's tough to beat.
Yeah, they saw something in the water. It was hovering over that something that was making a disturbance in the water. They got video evidence of this thing. 2 different fighter jets with pilots in them saw it. There's visual evidence, photographic evidence, video evidence, radar evidence, whatever the hell it is, it moves in a way that would turn a human being into jello inside of it. The G-force, no one would survive. What is that? And we don't. It doesn't have a heat signature. They don't know what their propulsion system was. But
when you fly in some of these jets, these pilots have to be in great shape.
Oh yeah. I flew with the Blue Angels once.
Yeah.
I got to fly.
And those are older machines.
And they're great.
When you fly in some of these,
oh my God. Yeah, I can imagine.
You got to be special.
All right. So that was the main clip I wanted to show because, me and my conspiracy theory side, we need to know what happened to JFK, okay? There's a lot of thoughts out there. And then, Trump mentions the MLK too. I think that should get released as well. Because if you believe a lot of the stories out there is, our government agencies were involved in both of those. Mainly CIA, FBI. So, if I wasn't already going to vote for him, just saying you're going to release that type of stuff, you got me. You got me. There's no reason that should be kept secret. Now, it worries me the way he kind of worded it. The whole they asked me to release it because generally when there's people still alive that were involved, what? Is he going to release it now because everyone that was involved in it's dead? That's kind of stupid. Or, are these really the real files, or are we going to get a whole, redacted nothing burger that kind of goes along with the current story they feed us? That's bogus. But that right there, Trump saying he is going to release the JFK, now, kind of worries me he comes out saying this type of stuff because if there is implications on some of these 3-letter agencies in our government, you know, they've already tried to assassinate this guy twice. What's going to stop them from trying again? Especially if they think he's going to, you know, have some dirt on him and release files they don't want. I'll just switch over here to a couple of the clips that I found on Instagram as well from that episode that I just found interesting. Because, you know, it's a 3-hour long episode. So people can complain all they want. This man has stamina. This man can go long form. You know, all the haters on X are, oh my God, he's just rambling, incoherent, da 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 da. He's talking. It's the way Trump talks, okay? He's talking long form, 3-hour episode. You're going to go off on tangents. So here's the first one where they kind of, you know, this is true. Like, this is what's so crazy. The left and liberals used to be like the anti-government, anti-big pharma. And now it's like the right that is like that.
Those are Republicans now. They're like, you want to be a rebel, you want to be punk rock, you want to like buck the system, you're conservative now. That's how crazy. And then the liberals are now pro silencing criticism. They're pro censorship online. They're talking about regulating free speech and they're regulating the First Amendment. It's bananas to watch.
Joe, they come after their political opponent. Well, I got more guys. I always say, you know, I kid, but I'm not kidding. I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone. He was the meanest of them all. He'd kill you in 2 seconds if he didn't like you, right? I've been under investigation more than Alphonse Capone, only because it's political opponent stuff. And I won. I won the big case in Florida. I'm winning the other stuff. You win, but you know what they did? They did something that's only done in third world countries. They came after their political opponent.
Yeah,
I could have put crooked Hillary in jail.
Well, not only that, but they're weaponizing it by saying that that's what you were going to do once you get in office. By ignoring what they're doing right now. The rebel.
Yeah, that's completely true. And that was why Rogan, like I said on the last video I did, to these people that are clueless that think Rogan's like always been this right-wing conservative guy. He's not. He's progressive. He was raised by hippies. He's liberal. But the liberals and leftists are lockstep with the machine now, with the war party. They're the war party, big government, for censorship. They used to be the free speech party. They're for censorship now. They're for big pharma. And these people that are just mindless lemmings that watch nothing but MSNBC, CNN all day, they don't even have the mental fortitude to realize their party's changed.
Can you imagine Kamala doing this show? She'd be laying on the floor.
She was supposed to do it, and she might do it, and I hope she does.
She's not going to.
We'll talk to her like a human being.
If she did this kind of an interview with you, I hope she does, because it would be a mess. She'd be laying on the floor comatose. She'd be saying, call in the medics.
I think we'd have a fine conversation.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. There's fucking Trump haters on Twitter, X, playing that clip like, oh my God, Rogan hates Trump. See, no. Rogan would allow Kamala to come on. She just knows she would get cooked in long-form conversation because she's a fucking bimbo and isn't smart. When she doesn't have questions pre-given to her, or moderators helping her, aiding her, or a teleprompter to read off of, she freezes up and says stuff like, the passage of time, and just repeats it over and over. And what was the other one? Unburdened by what has been. Or my favorite is when Ukraine got invaded by Russia, her explanation was, I should have pulled up this quote so I don't get it wrong, but it was something along the lines of what you'd expect a 5th grader or less than a 5th grader to tell you. Well, Ukraine is a smaller country. Russia is a bigger country. Russia invaded Ukraine, which is the smaller country. So basically, that's wrong. That was like, I'm paraphrasing. That was the gist of what she said, though. When I heard it, I was like, she's fucking retarded. How is this person the vice president? I don't claim to be some super smart intellectual. I can formulate a better fucking coherent sentence about Russia and Ukraine than one's a big country, one's a small country. The bigger country invaded the smaller country, so that's bad. Like, don't patronize me. Are you talking to me like I'm a fucking idiot? So, I mean, I would be interested to see her go on Rogan. I don't think she will, just because I have a feeling they're making requests to Rogan like, hey, we can't talk about these subjects, da-da-da-da. And Rogan's not going to do that. Rogan's not going to grill you. He's going to have a conversation with you. He's going to be fair, but he's also going to ask questions if you did some sketchy shit that people don't like. So here's another clip here, kind of like RFK Jr. joining the Trump team.
First of all, I love this idea of you teaming up with Robert Kennedy.
Right.
And I love this Make America Healthy Again idea. Because there are chemicals and ingredients in our food that are illegal in other countries because they've been shown to be toxic. There's pesticides and herbicides, and there's a lot of shit that's been sprayed on our food that really is unnecessary. And there's a lot of health consequences that people are suffering from a lot of these things.
And look at this chart for you.
Beautiful.
Because I had a feeling you'd be asking me.
Thank
Look
you.
at this chart. These are healthier countries. Look what the United States is. I'm going to send this to RFK Jr.
So this is, something along the lines. I was actually talking to RFK today, and he told me that more than 70% of young men are ineligible for the military because of their health.
I could see it.
That's
a
a
lot of it's
So here's the life expectancy versus health expenditure.
Same chart.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
USA.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Jamie's the best.
He's very good.
He's the best.
But look at that. Look at the USA.
And
they spend all.
That's our diet. That's sedentary lifestyle. That's our diet. That's the chemicals we ingest. That's what that is.
But RFK is going to be very, I think he's a great guy.
I love the fact that you guys teamed up.
Yeah.
And are you completely committed to have him a part of your administration?
Oh, I am. But the only thing I want to be a little careful about with him is the environmental, because he doesn't like oil. I love oil and gas. I think
keep him out of
the fire. So I'm going to sort of keep him out of a little. I said, focus on health.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want, but I got to be a little bit careful with the liquid gold.
I understand. But listen, there's plenty of good work that could be done if you focus on health.
Here's the one that my old time.
What is that?
See the arrow right here? That's what I love.
Do you have anyone that is pressuring you to not work with him? Have there been people
not work with you?
RFK Jr.? Yes, I would imagine. Because
I would say that, and I think in many ways they've done a good job. In many ways they've done a bad job. But I would say that the big pharma wasn't thrilled when they heard that. I've actually always gotten along very well with him. I've known him a long time. He's a different kind of a guy. He's very smart, great guy. And he's very sincere about this. I mean, he really is. He thinks we spend a fortune on pesticides and all this stuff, and then you end up with that chart is a terrible chart, the one previous. It's such a bad chart when you look at where we are compared to other countries that don't spend 10 cents.
Right.
So and you save a lot of money. But I've had some people that aren't exactly thrilled. You can imagine, right?
Sure.
It's a good question.
Well, certainly if
it doesn't affect me.
Some pharmaceutical drugs that have been prescribed that have negative consequences that these people have been profiting off of, and then you have a guy like RFK Jr. who spends an enormous amount of time highlighting those things. You could say how they've been very reluctant to have you support him.
I would say that's an understatement.
Yeah, that right there, another reason. If you weren't going to vote for him already, boom, you sold me. Like, come on. Like, there's no way. I think a lot of these polls that have Kamala even close is fake hype. I don't think there's some mindless zombies in this country. I don't think there's that many. But I could be wrong. But RFK Jr. joining Trump, Tulsi Gabbard joining Trump, she now joined the Republican Party, Elon Musk. These are people that were not Republicans or right-wing at all. but they're joining Trump because the Democrats and the left are just so batshit crazy and far left now. And their whole Hitler stuff is going to come back and bite them, I believe. You know, there's independent people that don't really like Trump, but they're getting tired of the crazy comparisons to Hitler. Regular people that I think some are just going to be like, you know what? This is ridiculous. More Hitler stuff. I'm going to vote for Trump. So I think I got a couple more to play, but I'm glad he got RFK Jr. on board. And the fact that Big Pharma's worried, that's all I need to hear.
Said, oh man, Trump's going to go to war with us. He was with Bush when they went stupidly into the Middle East. They should have never done it. I used to say it as a civilian. So I always got more publicity than other people. And I didn't, it wasn't like I was trying. In fact, I don't know exactly why. Maybe you can tell me.
Oh, I can definitely tell you. You said a lot of wild shit.
Maybe.
You said a lot of wild shit, and then CNN, in all their brilliance, by highlighting your wild shit, made you much more popular.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's true. That is true. So, look, those are just a few clips from the episode. And I had another one on here, like that was just a Kamala thing. It wasn't from the Trump episode, but I don't see it now where it's glitching. But yeah, man. I mean, the JFK files, the RFK Jr. on board, you know, Big Pharma being worried. That's enough for me if I wasn't already going to vote for Trump. But if you haven't checked it out, I know 3 hours is a long time, but Rogan's got that podcast episode with Trump out. It's pretty good. I mean, I was aware of, you know, all of it, but, you know, people that don't pay attention, you know, might learn some stuff. The only people I really see hating on it are, you know, the people that just don't like Trump. So they're automatically, oh my God, I'm 15 minutes in. It's so boring. So if you don't want to watch the whole thing, plenty clips are coming out now. You know, I played a couple clips in this just to give people, you know, a little bit of the meat and potatoes, parts that I really wanted to highlight. But yeah, we'll end it there. Make sure you guys like and follow Trad West Podcast on all platforms. Until next time.